Hello all. Okay, I'm going to do a few videos, not all today but just over when I've got the time basically. In this one I'm going to open up the TV. In fact, I'm going to show you the stuff that I've got here that I'm going to eventually get around to opening up, to take them apart and just see what's inside them. Right, so I've got a few things here. This is stuff that's getting thrown out. My mate gave us it. I've got an urn boiler. So I'm going to take this apart at some point. I've got an electronic chessboard. I'm going to open this up and take the bottom off and disassemble it. All this is getting thrown out. And this has hardly been used. It's still got its box in it, but the thing is I don't play chess, so but I'm going to open it up and see what's inside it. And I've got a clock as well. I'm going to take this apart at some point. Have a look in there to see what it's all about. But in this video of the day, I'm going to take this flat screen TV apart. I'm going to put the back off this and disassemble it and see what's inside it. So I'm going to eventually get down to doing videos on all four of them. I'm going to start off with the TV, flat screen TV, LCD screen. So I'll get the toolbox out and I'll put the back off it and have a look inside. I'm interested to see what's in it actually. And it's made this video for anybody else that wants to see inside these pieces of equipment that I got from my mate that he's going to be chucking into the skip anyway. They're all finished, so he knows that I do videos and take things apart on some of the videos I do. So I shall get the back off the TV and have a wee look inside it. Show you as well if you're interested. Okay, let's get on with it then. Okay, so I've got the TV set. I've got the basin table out. It's the workbench, and I'll disassemble it now. The reason I do it outside is because it's more uniformly lit outside. But if you do it in the house, you're kind of like, you've only got like the bulb and you're able to use torches. There's too much shadows. When it's dry at the moment, I'll use it outdoor because it lights everything up equally and you could get a good look inside. It's easier to film basically, and when I make a mess, and I make the mess in there. So anyway, I'll show you the TV. This is the another view of it, just to show you the specifications on the back as well. That looks like it uses Phillips screws, so I'm going to get a Phillips screwdriver and take it apart. It doesn't have a DVD player built into it or anything. This is just the flat screen TV, and that's it. So I've got all these screws to remove. This aerial lead, by the way, it's not connected to anything. It's just basically running or cable tied to the main 240 volt flex lead that goes into TV. This coaxial is just basically connected to nothing at the moment. I guess it would go in there when it was in use. So I shall just start working my way around to getting all these Phillips screws out. Just put it in a tripod. I could have filmed doing this. Not there's really much to see like, but just taking out the screws, that's all. Not much excitement here, just unscrewing. So I'm taking off the front trim panel, trim strip. All the screws are out, but that seems to be locking in over the front of the screen. It seems like these might have to come out. I'm not quite sure what's keeping this from coming off. These are that'll be maybe the infrared sensor. Although I don't see why that should be stopping this from coming off. So I'm going to refer to this smaller screwdriver to get these wee screws out, because this might be what's keeping this back from coming off. There's also the glass panel at the front, these trim strips, which I'll show you in a minute once I get this dealt with. I get too heavy handed with it, so I've removed these two screws. That's what was remaining, and I haven't took the back off yet, so this is the back removed, completely removed. So just to recap, I haven't counted them, but there's screw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 screws on the outside. Phillips screws, that's the 12 that I removed. 13 and 14, these smaller screws using this screwdriver, which was there basically, which connects to the circuit board. And with these 14 screws removed, the back comes off. The inside of the plastic back looks like as such. And I'm guessing that's the date, 15th of February 2015. I'll stick that out the way for now. So this is the circuit boards on the back. Now the screen at the front, the glass bit, is seemingly coming off. So I'll get into all that. This will be the speakers, two speakers, 1 and 2. This will be the, I'm guessing this will be the infrared sensor for the remote control. I'll take it apart anyway and just, you see, I really should have a tripod that could film me doing this, but unfortunately I'm holding the camera phone with one hand and then screwing this thing with another, which isn't really so easy. That is the infrared sensor, which is on the other side. Bits and pieces all over the shop, but never mind. That's the infrared remote control sensor. Right, so I'm going to turn this over and show the other side of it. But before I do, have a look. This is the liquid crystal display TV. The cathode ray tube ones, these TV sets, the old ones with the glass screen and the big tube at the back, these TVs contain thousands of volts and also have a capacitor inside it that will keep that charge in it for a while. You've got to be careful opening these things up, but as far as the capacitor, this is a different setup compared to the old cathode ray tube TVs. The cathode ray tube TVs do have capacitors in them that retain charge. This video is for viewing purposes only. Don't quote me on anything. Don't attempt to open any of these things up, by the way, if you don't know what you're doing. So I'll make that clear anyway. But you got to be very wary with capacitors. If they store charge in them, you've got to be careful with them. So I'm just making that clear. This isn't the cathode ray tube TV. This is the LCD, liquid crystal display unit. So, but I know for a fact that the cathode ray tube ones, the old ones that were made in the since 50s, 60s, 70s and 80s and that, these did have capacitors that stored high voltages in them. If you don't know what you're doing, don't open them up. be very wary of capacitors. So this is the SCART socket. This I'm guessing will be the tuner circuit. So that screwdriver is a bit big. I'll use the smaller one, which is actually these are quite tight. Let's see if it's a better screwdriver. So this is a better, sharper and bigger screwdriver. And I could hold the camera in one hand and unscrew it with the other, which kind of makes it a little bit awkward, but I'm just going to show you what I'm doing here. Like you say, if you don't know what you're doing, don't mess around in the back of any electrical appliance. Always get proper advice and follow the instructions. Don't attempt to open anything up when it's plugged in, unless you know what you're doing. So it's like a ribbon connector that seems to go into towards the screen with the liquid crystal display. I'll remove these other 4 Phillips screws, get these circuits off, then I'll flip the TV set onto its back and I'll have a look at the screen with the glass removed, because as I was taking the back off I was also prying the front panels, dress trim panels that kind of lock the glass to the screen, and I saw the white bit inside, so I'll reveal that later. But and just for this moment, and just gonna take these circuits out. Now this TV is not getting used again, so I'm not really giving a monkey's how what happens to it. Like, you know, I'm just taking it apart any old way. Even if it requires just yanking things out, then I'll simply do that if need be, because I don't really give a shit really, because it's getting thrown out anyway. But before it gets thrown out, I want to see what's going on inside. That's like a spade connector. That's your main flex lead, and they're just put on by. It just keeps everything nice and tidy, and that's the complete main flex, and the plug goes into your socket at the other end. Just move that out of the road now. It's all been table tied and taped to bits of tape, just to keep everything nice and tidy. Let me just flip that off and see, I'm holding it with one hand, and see, anyway, that just pulls out there. Let's see. Just yank it out. There you go. Oh, does it? Right, there you go. Circuit board. So that'll be possibly the transformer or something. Quite sure. My dad's away out in the car with my younger brother at the moment, so he's not going to be back for ages. So I don't really have his knowledge with me. So I'm just going to have to just take a wild guess and just wing it and just tell you what I think it might be. So I'm guessing it's some kind of, because that looks possibly like an iron core or something. These are maybe tuning coils for tuning the TV, and these are capacitors, by the way. That looks like a transistor. It's got a heat sink. It's like a metal heat sink, so maybe a part of the amplifier circuit, perhaps. This one here, well, that's your speakers, that's your wires into your speakers. This other one goes to the other speaker for stereo. And it looks like it's just one plug. See, there's 2, and that plugs into this board, so I'm presuming this will be the control board for the sound, and also the input for the SCART and the coaxial lead. And there's a ribbon connector. I'm not quite sure how you get these out. It's been a long time, 25 years ago since I actually worked in a factory that assembled circuit boards for telecommunication stuff. It was in Perth. So that was a while ago. So that's the remote circuit for red, and that's just taped, duct tape to keep things tidy. So that's the other circuit yanked out the back of the TV. When I get this thing apart, I'll put everything in a nice neat order and I'll get a few pictures of it. Next thing I'll do is I'll whip these speakers out and have a closer look at them. See how they fit in. Oh, they're just simply pushing, look. That's all it is. They just simply push onto these pillars, just like that. Simple. That's it. And they've got rubber mountings on them so it doesn't vibrate, because these speakers vibrate air, which is what produces the sound. There's a coil in there and a magnet, and the signal, it basically causes the paper to move, which vibrates the air molecules, which gives you the sound. And these rubber dampers are there just to stop the vibration going into the rest of the set, otherwise it will start buzzing. You'll get like vibrations inside, which you don't want. So they dampen it, put these grommets on there just to insulate the sound, keep the sound to the speaker. So I'm really just simply doing this with one hand, because my other hand is holding this phone, so it kind of makes it a little bit more awkward to do things. As I say, this is not very caring because the TV's knackered anyway, it's finished, it's going to get chucked, so I'm not really doing it carefully and just doing it any old way. That's the speakers out. And speakers, as you know, well, you may know, they have magnets, powerful magnet on the back. The magnet, it's like a electromagnetic. There's a coil in it. As it energises the coil, I think the magnet, when it energises and de-energises, the magnet will suck the paper that way when it's not energised, and when it's energised, the electrical coil will move it the opposing way, and the paper will move, and the signal is which causes the coil to be energised and not, in relation to the sound pattern that's coming out from the amplifier. Something like that. You know, I'm not an engineer, electrical engineer. My dad would be able to explain it better, but anyway, I just give you what I thought how it works. There's a magnet and there's a coil of wire, and it's the paper cone inside there vibrates in conjunction with the signal. That's the paper that actually produces the sound. It vibrates the air molecules, which goes into your eardrum, vibrates your eardrum. Then your brain will pick up that as sound, and you'll process it as the sounds, the frequencies that are coming out of these. It's just paper, magnet, and an electric coil, and I think it is the coil that energises it, moves the paper one way, and when it de-energises it, I don't really know for sure, but I heard that there's a magnet in the coil, and it's something like that. Go online and I'll tell you more about it. But anyway, just dissecting this TV. That's the speakers, both of them out. Not really got a lot of time to go into. As I say, my dad's not here at the moment, so he'd be able to explain it a lot better than I did. Anyway, I'm just gonna get on with this and not gonna get hung up on that. Right, I'll flip this over and I'll so before I do, I'll maybe move some of these. This might just be a mounting bracket for mounting the TV onto the wall. So this is the metal chassis, the metal bit, because the plastic, you wouldn't mount it on to the plastic bag because it'll just burst the plastic. It's got to be mounted onto something quite substantial, and I'm guessing this will be the mounting plate for the actual leg of the feet for the TV, because the TV is going to have a stand to keep it upright. And this, because the stand's missing on this, by the way, I forgot to mention that. And I think this stand will go into this metal component because it's quite substantial, and these are magnetic screws, by the way. They've also got like serrated washers on the bottom, so that suggests to me that it's going to be I thought I saw a serrated washer on it. Who cares? But it's there to basically take the weight of the take the weight of the set. See, that's what I mean, it looks like it's serrated, you can see it at the bottom. This is just the pattern of the... Who gives a monkey's? I'm only giving a... Couldn't care, I just want to get this off and get on with it. Right, so that's that off. Okay, this looks like the... Oh, what is this now? I don't know why that's what this plastic thing's about. I'm not quite sure just what the story is, but that looks like the main feed. I'm guessing the silver stuff is to prevent maybe interference perhaps, because it's sensitive electronic signals that's going to be going into the back of the set, and it's going to be quite sensitive, so I'm assuming that this silver reflective stuff will be there to reflect away any interference, because it's like foil as well. I'm going to move this dress trim out as well. Well, it's not dress trim, but this plastic. There's 4 Phillips screws. I think this will be the best screwdriver for it. Oh, something there. I just want to read that before it. It's like double-sided tape on that one. I put that off, and I think it's sensing out the voltages. Like I said, I don't recommend anybody do this if they don't know what they're doing. These things are potentially dangerous because the mains voltage goes into these units. You don't mess around with things when they're switched on or plugged in. Do not remove the covers when it's plugged in. Just leave it for somebody like a qualified electrician that knows what they're doing. That's my advice. I'm not encouraging anybody to do this. There's little fine screws in there, by the way. I don't know what this circuit is, but it's very, very fine. I'm guessing it's maybe the circuit to do with the actual screen. It's locked in somewhere. There's actually taped in, I'm not quite sure. The wires. Oh yeah. That was that thing, by the way, I was going to... Let's stick over it. See, there's like ribbon wire underneath that. I'm going to flip this over onto its back. Okay, so I'll just rip this plastic off it. This clip fits on. You can see how it kind of fits into these. It's basically a press fit. Well, I just ripped it off. It's basically not really any value in it now. But if you're doing a professional job, you would carefully pry it off. And the glass screen, which I'm going to be to reveal for the first time. Oh, that is quite shiny actually. Hold on a second, hang on a minute. Oh, it's really, really reflective on that side. That's the TV side. It's very thin. It's actually like a perspex, it's not glass. This is the other side. It's got a kind of, I don't know, just flex. It feels a bit sort of like there's a film, very fine film over that. I don't know how that's coming out in the camera, but I'm just going to sit that there for now. And that circuit board seems to, that fine wiring goes between this laminate. Now I'm not really quite 100% genned up how these LCD screens work, but it's liquid crystals. And this white board at the back is basically the backboard, or the backing, screen backing. It reminds me of the cinema screen actually. So, now, can I get that pried off? Looks like these pry off. Well, I just kind of broke that one off, and yeah, they do it pried off. I'm going to just pop that off. See how it actually fits on. You see, it just lips over. So if you were doing it professionally, you'd take care in what you're doing. You wouldn't just do it and just rip it off like. But this is getting scraps anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you would obviously pry it off with the proper tools to get the plastic, this plastic bit off in order to get into it, to access into there. Right, so with the gloves on and a flat screwdriver, I managed to get this thing apart. And it reveals laminates of a plastic sheet or something. Sheet. Very fine, thin. It's like photographic sort of paper. I don't expect to listen there. So I don't really know just how this works, but I'm sure as heck looking at the components, it's quite a... There's somebody that assembles them will know exactly what's what. But this paper, whatever it is, sort of hooks over these lips. The plastic, by the way, was just a case of going through all these lugs and patiently taking it off. Not, in my opinion. Just took it off, got it off ASAP. But if you're doing it right, you'd obviously take your time. Do it properly, but this is just to get on with it. So there's quite a few of these. As I say, once you got this TV dissected, I'll put all the bits in a nice orderly fashion and get some pictures of it and show you them. Now, this is the hard bit, hard plastic bit. Alright. Oh wow. Jeez. It's quite precisionally cut. Sort of. It doesn't have any scent or anything, it's just no smell to it or anything, it's just... And I think this is the... No, I said this was an LED... I wonder if this was an LED screen TV rather than... Are these LEDs or what? I'm not really sure, I'm going to have to just think about this one now for a minute. I wonder if that's what's responsible for the light in the picture, because it will vary the frequency to give you different colours, I think. I assumed it was an LCD screen, liquid crystal display unit, but it could be an LED screen TV, because I didn't really spend a lot of time studying it. As my mate says, there's a pile of shit that's getting chucked out. Here, look through that, see what you want to take apart. I say, oh, hey that, hey the TV, flip it in the back of the car up the road, chuck it in the cellar, and I said, right, what time, we'll take it apart, and then here I'm doing it. I didn't really study the model or anything, I just wung it, made it up as I went along, and I just assumed that it was an LCD screen. So I might be wrong, it might be an LED screen, where the LEDs will flicker at a different frequency to produce different colours. I think the primary colours are red, green and blue, red, green and yellow, something like that. There's like 3 main primary colours or something, and the different blends of colours is what makes the different infinite colours, not infinite, but large number of colours that the screen's able to produce, just by changing the, if it's something to do with the frequency of the voltages that go in these LEDs. I'm not 100%, far from 100% sure how they work. It's terrible, isn't it? And just being a vandal and just taking it apart and see what's inside, really. But yeah, I would like to learn about how it works, but so let's have a closer look at that. I'll show you as well. So there is like circuit boards or something. In fact, this comes off. This is just another sort of paper like material. And again, they just hook over the whole lot seems to just hook over these lips to keep all this laminate together. And, because that plastic bit's still on, it's just kind of hindering it a wee bit coming off. It would come off neater than that, but this would be just adhesive or something that's taking it apart. I mean, that looks like the actual LEDs. I don't know actually what they are. That's the only time my dad's not here. He's away in the car, so there's no way I could wait that long and because I didn't have time, I'm just going to wrap this video up now. I'm going to make the video, I'm not going to do it over a period of time, I'm just going to get on with it. I've only got that much time, so unfortunately I can only just tell you what I know at the moment. Well, maybe see if I could break one of them off and just have a look at the underside. They actually come off very, very easy. They just pop off, look. And then that's the only one that didn't fall on the ground. The other three did, the other two did. And the other side, the underside. Ah, no, that's just a lens. No, that might be the actual. Some details. 94 volts perhaps. And this little thing here as well. I don't know what the black things, maybe that's just fixtures for the lens cover to go on actually. I think that's what the black things are, that's just dimples for that. I think that might be the LED. I can't even get this to focus, but if we could I will. A close look at that. That's the is it light emitting? I'm not sure exactly just, but and then that'll be your feed circuit, power input. And so they just simply press fit on. So when I was putting the screws under there, I was just unhooking it from these dimples, basically. The dimples just, these three dimples just fit into there, and it just push fits on. And I'm guessing that'll be the LED or something. I'm not sure. I'll have to just do a quick Google of it, I think. I do look on Google, but it's just, there's mountains of stuff, information online regarding LED screens. It is an LED, LED stands for light emitting diode. I knew that anyway, but I kind of suspected it was, and I was 99% sure that it's an LED screen, not a liquid crystal display unit. Which is what I thought, but initially I thought it was an LCD TV. Just because I didn't know an expert on TVs, I thought, look, it's a flat screen, it'll be LCD. I know that you got plasma TVs as well, but they were expensive. I don't think we might be chucking a plasma at because I know the LED screens, you press them and you know, if you press the screen, it goes all that funny way, that picture goes all crystally and everything, and it warps because it's the liquid crystals that have been energised to produce the picture. But the LED, light emitting diode one, it uses the LEDs that produce light, and somehow all the filters, everything, the frequency and all the rest of it makes your picture. But the picture is made up obviously with the signal that goes in and all this. There'll be a signal, it must be like a decoder and that will go into a graphics card or something in there, and the mother blah 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 blah, whatever. But it's, it works. You just plug it in, press button, you get a picture. That's really it. There's not an awful lot inside these. Really, that's two main circuit boards. A lot of engineering's gone into it, obviously, but I thought there'd be like quadrillions and transistors, microchips, wires, and everything like you've seen in the old 80s. Because, as I say, my dad's an electrician. He's been for many years, and when I was a kid, when I grew up in the 80s, 70s, 80s, I used to watch my dad repair things. And when you opened these old sets, well, that was the norm back then, but it's old now. When you opened up the old Catherway tube TVs, for example, there was like tons and tons of stuff, wires, components, circuit boards. There was tons of stuff. But you see the modern ones nowadays, it's all on a like on a motherboard, a microchip, microprocessor. So everything's compacted into these wee things that take away all these wires and interesting components. Makes everything tiny and small and compact and very complex and difficult to really see what's going on. So when you open it up, there isn't really an awful lot, but it's expensive, and obviously a lot of thought and engineers gone into it, like precisionally put together. But anyway, I'm going to get this into all these components into a neat pile. We'll see if there's anything else that can come off this that I could take apart, and then I'll just put it all on the table and get pictures out and display it for the video. I think maybe the only other thing I could do is perhaps take this. No, see, that isn't even going to fit. That's a very precision fine screw. See, probably just round it using it this way. I don't think there'll be very much under there. It's just a circuit board trim for the to supply the. There's only 2 strips as well. So how many LEDs is there then, I wonder? Let's just count them then, shall we? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Only 22 LEDs. That's all there is. Only 22. I thought there'd be like thousands of them. So going back to this glass bit. If I could dig this out. Well, it's not actually glass, it's like a kind of perspex. It's just laminate. And there's a circuit board in there as well. That might be the graphics card, I don't know. So it'll be very fine signals that will go in there. Very sensitive, hence the silver reflective stuff. And this silver stuff as well. But there must be like a very fine circuitry in there or something, because there is something in there between them, but I can't get into that. Like there's no way I could get that apart, but you could just see it from here really, what there is to see. So speaker, that's the main magnet. You could actually hear a bit of the sound, just that's what it sounds like. Yes, that's what produces the actual sound that you hear. It's the paper cone. I mean, I could maybe see, I could maybe rip the, burst the cone and burst the speaker and have a look in there perhaps. Yeah. How easy it is to burst, it's very fragile. It's just paper. You can stick a screwdriver through it and then there you go, you just rip the thing apart. And that'll reveal what's behind it. And I like peeled it back a little. Fine wiring. This is the traditional. It'll be like that in most speakers these days anyway. Most speakers it works on the same principle. Even your old 80s TVs and the old 60s stereo speakers. Speakers like this, paper cone speakers, work on a similar principle. It's paper that makes the actual sound, and there's a magnet. And I'm guessing that'll be the coil in there. Yeah. And then you can see just how magnetic it is. It's had in fact that's handy for getting all these screws together. A strong magnet. So, but the cone, rip into the cone. So I've burst my way into the cone as well, and you could. That's the actual magnet at the base and the coil of wire. I think that'd be copper wire as well. So that's inside there. As I say, I think that's transformer insulation. If you could reveal what looks like windings, I'll see if we could scratch into that. So yeah, I listed the help with a flat screwdriver and just pry this insulation off to reveal the coils, the wiring there. So it works on an induction system like a transformer. It must induce a voltage. I'm guessing that'll be like an iron core of some sort. So that'll be maybe the power feed. I mean, if you really do it properly and professionally, you would just get a circuit diagram and you would just work it out that way. But I know what time to do that. My dad's the one for that. He's good at that. Right now I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to quickly get around dissecting this TV. Or destroy that. Destroy that would probably be better than just see what's inside it. And educate myself, because I want to see what's inside it and see what the parts look like. And that's what the purpose of this video is, to share it with anybody else that has a similar interest in me, that wants to see what's inside them and perhaps want to even learn more about them. Always have been inquisitive with stuff like this, so, and it's great when I get old stuff I can just take apart and get a good look in them and see all the bits. And there's another like a transformer sort of. I'm guessing, well, I've just wrecked all these components by the way. That's just so I could see them. The thing's getting chucked out anyway, it's no value to anybody, to my knowledge. Yeah. Guess what I did. So it's coil of wire as well, so it works on a similar principle. It's a transformer. These are the capacitors, well they are capacitors, so you don't mess around with them. They do store charge. But the diodes, and rusty as anything in my physics now, really am. And the capacitors, back of the circuit board. And your main micro, I guess that'll be your main microprocessor there. It's got a heat sink on it, and that's metal. So that'll be to get rid of the heat, because it'll be doing all the thinking and processing. So it'll get hot. This will be where the plugs will connect in. It's your high definition leads, etc. SCART lead, aerial leads, all them. Well, that's actually a high definition lead. I'm guessing that might be what, USB perhaps. But they just plug directly into the board, into the circuit board. Well, I've got everything kind of like put in some kind of order, and I'll show you what I've done with them. Right, okay. Well, first of all, you got the actual back of the TV, which is plastic bit that goes in the back. This bit here is the front trim panel, which clips on to the metal bit, and it sandwiches in all this stuff. These filters. These are like plastic. This is the thicker one, and this is the back one, the rearmost one. And behind that one, you've got your metal chassis, I suppose, because this is the main component that's the most substantial. This is the metal bit, the strong bit. I think this is what holds everything together. And from that, everything's just built around it, like your panels are built around it. But this is the main structure, if you like. This houses these LED strips, 22 of them, and you got your main feed. Well, you've got a feed that goes in the feed circuit, so power it up. It uses ribbon cables on here, using this circuit. Connects into the motherboard. Well, there's two of them anyway. Looks like there's a bit of circuitry there. Is that just? And you've got your other side. It's just a plastic bit. That's the bit that's behind the screen. That's the bit that you're looking through, which has got this ribbon wire and fine circuit board to it as well. Speakers, two speakers, stereo. I've burst this one open to have a look inside. It's identical more or less, but there's some of the specifications on it. Pretty much the same. Infrared sensor for the remote control, and the wiring just goes into here. So push fit as well. Just pulls out and just fits onto these pins here. That's for your remote control. Circuit board 1 or 2, well, it's one circuit board is the other main circuit board. A wee circuit board on the LED sensor, then you've got this board here and the screen. You've got this probably Formica circuit. That's just mainly printed circuit board for your LEDs. Then you've got your dress. Well, not really a dress, it's just like a molten plastic molten panel or something. It helps hold everything together. Then you've got your main flex lead, which plugs into your main. It's your mains overhead. It actually tells you the 250 volts. Live, it's a dangerous one obviously, it's you're plugging into the wall. I guess that'll be the transformer, so that'll be high voltage as well. And the capacitors are there just to smooth things out, they just store charge to keep everything. It's like a reservoir of electricity, because when you're in a household you've got other things going on in the circuits, like you've got a washing machine on, you get power surges, and electronics won't really operate with power surges because they're very sensitive, so these act as a storage reservoir for electricity. So when there's a surge, that will dampen it. There's a nice smooth flow of electricity coming out the capacitors, so all the fine electronic circuits could work. So it's not jumping about all over the place. It just keeps everything nice and cushioned. It stores a charge in there. Because as I say, your mains, you'll get fluctuations in the electricity just even from the national grid, I guess. And the electronics won't like that fluctuation. So it stores up a wee sort of reservoir of electricity, so when there's a fluctuation, the reservoir will compensate for that dip, or even a spike in electricity, because you could get like a surge as well, lightning, or when there's, if you plug it in at tea time and then suddenly everything goes off, you know, if you have your TV on right through the small hours, things are getting switched off, and you get a spike in the electricity from the mains. You don't want the power going up, so it must be like a dampener effect to keep everything smooth, so that will get a smooth output. It's just like a reservoir. That's the best I could. That's my understanding of it anyway. So I'm going to tidy this mess up and get my tea. It's getting on a bit, so I think I'll just wrap this video up now. That's pretty much everything that I could take apart inside this LED TV. Okay, right, so that'll do it then. I'm just going to tidy all that tidied up, dispose of it responsibly in the appropriate responsible way. Like you would, for example, you take electrical stuff to the local skip and dump it there. Don't, you know, dump it responsibly. That's what you do. So I've took some still photos. I've got some still photos as well, making me photo slide of it all. So I'll clear all this shit up and get my tea and starving. I was getting on a bit. Oh, and the tools required that I used anyway is this Phillips screwdriver, this flat one just to pry a few things open, this Phillips, and a smaller Phillips for getting into the smaller things. So 3 Phillips and 1 flat. Well, the flat was just mainly used for getting into the plastic lugs and just to pry things open. Which really came in handy for that, and that was it. And just a pair of heavy duty rubber gloves, because you could get sharp bits of metal, you could cut your fingers quite easily, so it's always good to have some sort of PPE, I suppose you could call it, personal protection equipment. Okay, so that's everything tidied up. So I'm going to get my tea, it's getting on a bit. I hope you enjoyed the video, hope you found it interesting. Like I say, don't go opening up things that you don't know anything about. If you're not an electrician or anything like that, just don't open up, because it could be dangerous. High voltages and shit, and there could be hazardous materials in there also. And the other thing about these TVs as well is that the circuit boards, well, any electronics, the circuit boards, the solder on the bottom could be very sharp. So it's good to have some sort of gloves if you're handling circuit boards. But I mean, if the TV was getting used again, if you were fixing it professionally, you would be putting them in Faraday bags and wearing, you know, for static electricity and all that could affect fine circuitry. You wouldn't treat it like that. You wouldn't have it outside for a start. But that's just going in that's getting disposed of responsibly. So it's not getting used again. So that's why I just took it apart out here at the back, so it's not going to make a mess of the house, and I've got all the light in the world to it highlights everything. It's much better doing it outside. So I've done that. So I've got the other things to take apart. I've got the boiler, the electronic chest. Well, it's the boiler that's actually in there, and you saw it anyway at the start. So I'll be taking that apart at some point. The electronic chessboard, I'll take that apart. I'll rip the clock apart as well. And I'll do separate videos for each of them. So if you want to see them, just keep a check on my channel, see what else I put up. Okay, right. Right, thanks for watching. Bye for now. Bye.